Alrighty, welcome back to part 3 of telling you exactly how I went from this to this. In parts 1 and 2, I talked about everything that I do for my workouts, cardio, and weight training. Now, part 3, we're going to be talking about diet and nutrition, which I would argue is just as important, if not even more important, than what you do every day for exercise. What you put in your body and what you fuel it with genuinely does matter. And once you can understand how different foods affect your body and how they can support you, instead of looking at them like something that you have to be scared of, it can make all the difference. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into food and diet and nutrition. First, starting with just the 3 macronutrients that make up all of the foods that we eat. Number 1, protein, which I'm sure you've heard of. This is one of the biggest supporters for muscle growth, as well as just keeping your skin healthy, your hair healthy, your nails healthy. Then number 2, carbs, which is actually your body's preferred source of energy. Your brain and how it functions heavily relies on the carbs that you eat. Then number 3, fats, which are actually super important for hormone balance and long-term energy stores. And now some of my favorite foods for each of these: protein, number 1, any kind of meat, steak, ground beef, chicken, things like that, as well as cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, eggs, egg whites, and the occasional scoop of protein powder or protein bar, which are processed proteins, but I will talk about that in another video. Then for carbs, rices, potatoes, preferably with the skin on, because that means it still has the fiber, which again, I'll talk about in another video. And then for fats, my favorite is avocado. I love avocado. Also love almond butter, peanut butter, cashews, walnuts. And it's also important to note that there are usually 2 kinds of most dairy products that you can get. For example, cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. Essentially, low fat and non-fat are just more strained, or mostly just protein. And then the full fat versions, which have protein, but also some of the calories in them are coming from fat as well. And now, talking about how I build my meals, I currently do not track calories. I just try to make sure that I get 100 grams of protein per day. And the easiest way that I found to do this, you want to shape all of your meals around a protein source. Then I'm going to ask myself, what carbs and fats do I want to add to that? Then boom, I've hit all 3 of my macronutrients. Protein is going to help with my muscle growth, carbs is going to help give me quick energy, and the fats help stabilize my hormones, give me long-term energy, all kinds of stuff like that. And now this video is getting super long, but those are just the basics. I do still want to talk about processed proteins, whether or not you should be eating them, the importance of fiber, which has been such a game changer for me, as well as how I manage eating out and how I stay consistent with my goals while still eating the foods that I love. So stay tuned for part 4.